A balmy summer day at AA Kyalami in Midrand and a race meeting that promised a great deal of action for the crowd, who were waiting expectantly for round 6 to get underway. In the super special category, championship leader Bux Carolyn was coming under increasing pressure from defending champion Wolf Peter Fumfai.
But he's still leading the championship, but it seems like Peter Fumfai is catching up. He lost out at the last race a little bit.
Yeah, the thing was we've had an electrical problem with the car, and we're getting it right now. We've just rewired it. We've had this jinx in the thing all the time, and I've lost about 3 of the races this year. The car just cuts out, so we've rewired it, and hopefully it's gone now. But you know, racing is one of those things that's never over till it's over.
Well, will the rewiring of Carolyn's lubrication equipment Chenoweth make any difference? We'll soon find out as Carolyn gets a great start and gets into turn 1 in the lead. Jackie Joubert in his Jojo Tanks VW Beetle 4x4 Turbo also gets a great start and is challenging Wolf Peter Fumfai in his home-built WPP Sturmjager for second. Fumfai has the line though and pulls away from Joubert, who now has Max Moore in his WPP Footloose to worry about. Joubert has not had a great deal of luck in Total Super Series recently, with mechanical gremlins making life difficult for him. A mistake there by Fumfai, and now Joubert can close in. Carolyn, then Fumfai and Joubert gets the run on the defending champion and moves into second position. It's Carolyn, then Joubert and Fumfai, and making up ground is Tom Smith in his Mighty Mag. Oh, and Agus Miguel, who treated the spectators to a spectacular roll in front of the grandstand during practice, seems headed for an early shower. This led to the race being stopped to allow marshals to remove the Ford V6. The second lap after the restart, and again it's Carolyn taking the early lead, Joubert in second, and Smith closing in third position. This is a great battle as Smith tries to get his Mighty Mouse's nose in front of the Jojo Tanks Beetle of Joubert. Smith tries to sneak through on the inside of the bottom corner, but Joubert has the advantage of turbocharging and can get the power down much earlier than Smith. Some smoke coming out of the back of Smith's Mighty Mag, probably just some overflowing oil on the exhaust. Now into the stadium section, and Smith gets much more speed through the left-hander. He goes the long way, trying to get around Joubert. It's Carolyn in the lubrication equipment Chenoweth, and then this almighty battle between Joubert and Smith for second position. Smith takes the inside line. Has he got him? Yes, he's through, and the Mighty Mag is in second position. Smith has had a few mechanical problems in previous rounds of Total Super Series 97, but now everything seems to be working. Great entertainment, and 3 laps later, Smith is snapping at the heels of championship leader Bux Carolyn. Across the finish line, and Carolyn goes wide. Smith goes through on the inside and takes the lead. Smith in the Mighty Mag, then Carolyn in the lubrication equipment Chenoweth. Smith is the son of former off-road racer John Smith and has never led a Total Super Series race before. It seems as if Carolyn's really got to find some answers for his spate of poor performances lately, because he's not scoring maximum points. It's Warren Claassen who's rolled his Radflow Dart just before the jump coming into the stadium section. Because the race was stopped more than 3/4 of the way through, a result was declared, with Smith taking the victory.
Tom, that was an interesting race. 2 stoppages.
Yeah, it was in the first one I went a bit wide, and I touched Peter Fumfai. Later on in the race I touched Bux, and it was pretty hairy, you know, but it was a lekker race. I just hope that Warren's okay after his major wipeout.
And indeed, Claassen was only a little shaken, not stirred. After 5 rounds in the 200cc motorcycle category, Elna Fox Kawasaki teammates Freddie Fourie and Brett Gray were sharing the top of the point standings.
Freddie, you and Brett Gray on equal points in the 200 category. It's turning out to be quite a tight championship this year.
Yeah, it's tight. Brett's been riding good. He's on the gas. I just got to get in front of him, stay in front of him, get the points on him, and just go for the title.
The start of Heat 1, and a great start for another Elna Fox Kawasaki rider, Ian Topless, with Fourie and Gray hot on his heels. The whole shot belongs to Topless, but Fourie and Gray are not allowing him to get away. Topless has just retained his 125 and 250 motocross titles, and until the end of the Total Super Series 97 season, he's free to concentrate on improving his points position in this series. But both Fourie and Gray want the title badly, and with no team orders, it's every man for himself. Topless, Fourie and Gray. Already these three are pulling a gap on Alan Julian, who's fourth on his Shell Racing Honda. Piet Pienaar is fifth. And there's a man down. It's Connie Meyer, and we're going to have another stoppage. Shortly after the restart, three riders were involved in a multiple crash, and the race had to be stopped again. Among the riders involved was Kevin Blues, and although two riders had to be taken to hospital, nobody was seriously injured. The spectators were wondering whether the day's program would be completed with all these stoppages. Out of the gates for the third time, and again it's the whole shot for Ian Topless on his Elna Fox Kawasaki. This time, Fourie and Gray both had a bad start, and it was going to be an uphill battle for them to catch the leader. Pienaar is second on his Honda, followed by Alan Julian and Brett Gray. Fourie was languishing down in sixth position behind Gavin Cowley on his Dynacoms Honda. Through the bottom corner, a treacherously slippery left-hander, and it's Topless, Pienaar, Julian and Gray. Topless is pulling a nice gap while the rest are fighting among themselves. Fourie is up into fifth position and is chasing Gray for fourth. Three Kawasaki's and three Hondas make up the top six as Topless maintains his lead over Pienaar, Julian, Gray, Fourie and Cowley. The tight right-hander causes all the riders behind Pienaar to bunch up, and the man who gets the best slingshot out of here will make up ground on the opposition. Fourie is trying his utmost to pressure Gray into a mistake. Lap 8, and still it's Ian Topless. But now Freddie Fourie has moved into second position and is challenging for the lead. Pienaar's third, ahead of Julian and Gray. Topless and Fourie, Elna Fox Kawasaki teammates, fighting it out for the lead and coming up on some back markers. Through the fast left-hander after the finish line, and now Fourie knows he has a chance of getting past the leader. The back markers are holding their lines. Topless gets around them, but he goes wide through the left-hander as Fourie pushes him to the outside. Topless is boxed in and Fourie takes the lead. What a brilliant ride. Fourie knows that if he stays where he is and Gray finishes in fifth, he'll be in a strong position to take the lead in the championship, and he's determined to take the victory. All three races on the day count towards an overall position, which determines the rider's total points for the day, and obviously finishing on top calls for consistent high placings. And that's the way they finished. A great race by Freddie Fourie, winning after lying sixth at the start, ahead of Topless, Pienaar, Julian, Gray and Cowley. Kawasaki taking the top honours and three of them in the top five. Three Hondas in the top six.
Freddie, you had to work for that one.
Yeah, I had a bad start, man. I didn't think I'll catch Ian. I found some good lines. I just started gaining on him little by little. He caught up with the back markers. They were in his way. I got a lacquer line. I passed him. And the luck was on my side. I rode well. I rode with my head and consistent.